Damn. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. Yes, we are live. Yes, we are live. Of course, we are. And what did I say to you when I reported this morning that this is going to be a very, very interesting day in the West Ham world? Earlier on, I brought to you the news about Carlos Soler on his way to London to complete his medical to join West Ham on loan with an option to buy around about £20 million, roughly around about that. James Ward-Prowse heading to Nottingham Forest on a straight out loan. We're still waiting to hear news of Maxwell Carney. Obviously, a little bit of late interest from other clubs, but he looks like he is going to be going to Southampton, and it looks like West Ham might not be finished. Why am I saying that? Well, news is starting to break that West Ham are interested in this Chelsea young player. Well, not necessarily young player, but West Ham are trying to sign Chelsea youngster Carney Chukwuemeka from Chelsea. Now, this is an interesting one because obviously we all know the situation with Chelsea and how much they have a huge squad and in theory need to sell players in order to balance their books. And this player, Chukwuemeka, could be a player that West Ham could be looking at. But people may say to me, well, why are we looking at bringing in another midfielder, especially if we're bringing in Carlos Soler? But I can't help but feel that maybe Lopetegui is looking at one for the future, knowing that maybe there's a better pathway to the West Ham first team than there is at the Chelsea team. And if you consider the fact that they've got all the players that they've got, he is 20 years old. He is a midfielder. He is national of England, but he was born in Austria, but he does represent England at every level from under 17s all the way through to the under 21s. So in his Premier League career, he's played 37 games. He did join Chelsea from Aston Villa for £20 million. So there's obviously something about the player. But it looks like we are potentially looking like after moving some of our players out, looking at maybe bring some more youthful players into the mix. Listen, the other thing I want to say to you is this is also according to the Guardian's Jacob Steinberg. Now, remember, Jacob Steinberg does have a direct line through to David Sullivan, usually does tend to bring those news stories out into the mainstream media when West Ham are moving either close or are linked to a particular player. Now, he hasn't, the player, Chukwuemeka, hasn't featured regularly for Chelsea since his move from Aston Villa. But he is a central midfielder to trade. He can operate as more of attacking roles as well. And he is a talented young player. So this does feel a bit like West Ham are looking to the future rather than thinking about now. He's a powerful runner, so he's got pace, he's got strength, and he's got really good close control as a player. He's intelligent off the ball movement. And he is a very, very good dribbler of the ball. But he is someone that's not for now. He is someone that's not for now. I think West Ham are trying to explore a loan deal. It looks like West Ham are trying to explore a loan deal as they're looking to chunk out our bench with some quality young players there. Let me just have a look at this here. He scored against us last year. Great goal he did after doing it all. Hopped up Loving Hammers from East London. I'd definitely take him. He looked good when he got a run in the Chelsea first team. Is he the only one they signed from Villa? Take him on a loan. I think the problem you've got when, let's have a look see, I can't loan anymore. Solar would take us to our limit, right? So anyone that comes in after Solar would be a purchase, possibly. Yep, again, just depending on what the final details of all of these deals coming in are as well. 15 million seems a bit too much in my opinion then. Would rather a striker though? No. Yeah, absolutely. I would. Absolutely I would. I would love nothing more than us to bring in John Duran. I get bringing in youngsters for the future, but this is a deadline day where we appear really blunt in the striker department. This is where it makes no sense to me. And I think I do agree with you on that one, Neil. I think I would prefer West Ham to fully focus on their thoughts into the striker. But if we do push forward, the whole point of me trying to say to you about this player here is what kind of player is he and where's he come from? Now, he joined the Villa Academy age 13, and his rise has been rapid since. In his first year as Villa, he was triumphant in the 2018 Premier League Under-15 Cup before starring for the Villa's FA Cup youth win back in 2021, finishing as top scorer in the competition with 6 goals, which included a hat-trick in the 6-1 quarter-final versus Newcastle. A Premier League debut also came that season with 2 late season substitute cameo and wins against Spurs and Chelsea. This is when he played at Aston Villa. And his most notable achievement to date is winning the Under-19 Euro Championships with England, assisting 2 and scoring 3, including the winning goal in the final. He was a standout player of the tournament. When we talk about players who are quality who play for Chelsea, and people then turn around and go, why would they sell? You just got to look at the history of what Chelsea do. You've just got to look at the history of what we do. Don't know why we didn't go for Tony 40 million. GP, I don't know why many haven't gone for him, to be honest with you. I mean, I've just seen a clip of him heading in to London for, I believe, is his Saudi Arabian medical. Is that right? I don't think that's the Chelsea medical. I believe that is for the Saudi Arabian club who are interested in him. And what baffles me is why not many other clubs in the Premier League have gone for him. It's as if they find him to be a risk of some sort. I'm really not sure on the Ivan Toney situation, because for 40 million quid, surely, yeah, he's arrived in his medical in central London ahead of his possible move to Al Hilal as well. 15 million sounds reasonable. We should have went for Tony. 40 million, don't understand why we haven't. Who is this? This is a young player, 20 years old, signed from Aston Villa to Chelsea a couple of seasons ago, who West Ham are now linked to bringing in as well. Tony is going to Chelsea. It doesn't look like he is, mate. It looks like he's currently, as of 10 minutes ago, arrived in London for his medical for Al Hilal. Lope has been told he has 2 years to get us into Europe, so can't see him as a safer fitter when we need, I don't know, Carney. Chukwuemeka, thanks, just tuned in. Any news on a striker? Can't see a sign in the defender unless a Gerd is going. I was actually on Stell's channel earlier on, and we were talking about players that could come in and could go. Back then, people were saying there was a really small chance it would bring someone in, but that was also based upon people going out. And very quickly, within half an hour, James Ward-Prowse was heading to Nottingham Forest, and West Ham have agreed a fee and a deal to bring Carlos Soler to West Ham. So you can see how quickly things can move. We're obviously going to wait for the confirmation of Carney leaving the club. There is also outside chances of Danny Ings leaving the club. On top of that, we're waiting on outside chances of a Gerd leaving the club as well. And if they do, I expect West Ham to make some more movement. But in terms of this signing, I think it would. It's yeah. I mean, is it going to come in and set the world alight? No. Is it a good option off the bench? Absolutely. Has he got a point to prove? Definitely. And sometimes buying players like that do work out and pay dividends, depending on what the kind of deal is as such. Tony wants megabucks because he's of his age. He's thinking of his future. We can't afford the wages he wants, and that's probably the reason why no one has gone for him. And he's certainly going to go and do what he has done. It's interesting because I want to know, just very briefly, what do you think of the James Ward-Prowse potential deal to Nottingham Forest? Because it looks like it's a straight up loan, which means that we're probably going to bring him back if he performs reasonably well, which I could see that. I could actually see that. Let me just have a look here. If there's anything else coming in. If 3 players out, quite surely they have players on speed. I absolutely think they will. YouTube user, by the way, I sent you that email request. Did you? Right, okay, I'll go and check. Sorry, I didn't realize. I've not actually went to check, so I will go and check that. I'll try and respond to you today as well. Where does he play? Wing? No, but he can adapt into the wing. He's predominantly a central midfielder. Pacey, strong on the ball, can dribble with the ball. I can only potentially think that it's a long-term vision option of possibly a Paketa style player. Maybe not. Yeah, but if you want to have a look at what he is capable of doing, go and look at the England under-19s that won the cup several years ago. He was the standout player of that tournament and the top goal scorer of that tournament as well. So that's where you'll probably get your best vision of what type of player he is and what he is capable of doing potentially at West Ham. Stacking our midfielder, absolutely. JWP is crap. I'll walk him there. Hard, harsh, but true. No, not true. Harsh. It's absurd we're thinking of selling a Gerd. Do you know what? It comes down to the following thing. Does he really want to be at West Ham? And I don't know if he does anymore. I like him. I think he's a quality player, but I don't know if he actually does anymore. JWP deal is good for us. We should keep JWP, give him more game time. Okay, Paul says, I'm told that we're allowed 2 domestic loans and then 2 overseas, making a total of 4. So if it's true, it's possible. An option behind Kilman, but looks like Loppy won't even have him on the bench. Loving this ruthless business. Chuck would be exactly what we need, a pacey central player who can carry the ball. Yep, good point. JWP is about on par, but without the love, Noble wouldn't get in this side either. Absolutely not. I tell you what, I'm going to give, is anyone in the chat wanting to come on? Then I'm going to give you the option to do that by clicking this link that I've just put in the chat. I'm going to stay on for another 5 minutes, but I've put that link in the chat. Click that. You'll go through into the green room and I'll bring you on if you want to come in and have a chat very, very briefly about our transfer window. JWP is about on par with Noble, but without the love. Noble wouldn't get in this side either. He scored a banger against us last year, I remember. Yeah, but see, the window's not done. The window's not done. We just have to wait and see what's going to happen here. As a poor man's Kudus, playing different roles though. Good luck JWP at Forest. I don't want him back. He doesn't suit our style. There are a few others who don't fit it too. Who needs 4 centre-backs? We seem to have a lack of depth. 6 a.m. here. I ain't coming on. No worries, mate. Paul McCarthy says, Agert is world-class at being unable to defend. Loan him to Carlisle. Harsh. I just think Agert's been a victim of our system under our manager, our previous manager. I really do. I think he's just simply not a low block defender. What a pleasant surprise Kilman has been. So the funny thing is, when it comes to Kilman, he was not my first choice as a defender, and I've not that I didn't want him; it just wasn't my first choice, and I'm glad we've brought him in because he seems to be an absolute steal. He seems to be quality. He seems to be cool, calm, collected, and controlling that defense, which is what we all need. All teeth and nice head. The geezer, a total crap defender. Agert is world class in international ball. All I want is Duran. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. No striker then. It seems more people are going to be upset with how this window is ending. One thing we have to remember with regards to Duran is, and this is me being conspiracy, but the communication angle between West Ham and Aston Villa is open. It's not closed, it's open. If they want a deal done, a deal could get done if the finances were there. If they want a deal done, they could get the job done. Let's just see what happens between now and then. The close is at 11 p.m. UK time. That's when the window closes this evening. Hammer time, what do you think of the Soler deal? I think it's a really shrewd piece of business. Why do I think it's a really shrewd piece of business? Because I don't know if you watched the show. I've done so many bloody shows, I have no idea. If you watch the game against Bournemouth, Carlos Soler provides us with everything we didn't have and does nothing like what James Ward-Prowse and Tommy Soucek did. Sounds so harsh on those two players, but that particular game, they didn't offer us anything. He's a ball-carrying midfielder who's got an acute pass, who's clever with his feet, who rides a tackle. He's small, he's slight, but he knows how to get in and around players. And I think he'll hold on to the ball. He'll probably have a 360-degree Scotty Parker vibe about him, but more clever with everything else that he does. So I honestly would be quite excited about the Carlos Soler one. I can see why West Ham and Lopetegui would want him, because based upon the Lopetegui style of play, I think Carlos Soler looks like the sort of player that really fits that piece of the jigsaw. And I do think it's an upgrade on the basis of West Ham playing the Lopetegui style. Not saying, like for like, man for man, whatever, in terms of the players. But yeah, I do think so. No striker then. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It seems some people are going out to be upset with how this window is ending. Duran should be the number one target. It does at 11 p.m. It does. Good morning, Anton and chat. Good to see you, Gary. Thanks for watching. Can't watch Fulkrug and Antonio all season. I remember being told we'll have a big surprise coming in. When and who? I know. We'll have to wait and see. Solar seems to be a strange signing. Honestly, good player. We've done 10 more times more in this window than I expected. The people are still going to be upset how it finishes tonight. Yes, they are, but that's because our expectations have gone through the roof. They have gone through the roof in terms of everything. We've got no room for loans if we're going to spend. Why don't we pay up front for Soler and Duran on loan? I believe we do have room for loans if they are a mixture of domestic and abroad, I believe. Duran and Solero, please. Icy and tasty. Fulkrug had a race with the Tortoise and Martin Noble in training. She came fourth. Soler was very good in La Liga. He was. And you know what? He was actually decent, but just not had his proper chance at PSG. But not many players do. It's a tough gig. He did make a reasonable impact at PSG, but not enough to be a regular in their starting team. Solo looks good. I like this. We haven't had a ball carrier since Dick. How many goals do you expect from Nicholas Fulkrug this season? Honestly, I really genuinely don't think we can judge him on the Bournemouth game. You cannot judge him on the Bournemouth game because he was not supported. He wasn't. No matter what striker you were, if you played in that Bournemouth game, playing the style of play that we played, with the players that we played in the middle of the park, no striker would have done anything in that game. I'm glad we're letting JWP go on a permanent. It doesn't look like it is a permanent. It looks like it's just going to be a straight up loan deal. But again, the finer details of that one will have to be wait to come out. Let's just have a look here, see if there's anything else happening. Sniffs of Lanzini, me likes Duran, and Solar, please. The Valencia Solar was superb. James Awol Prowse. I still think West Ham need on a left back. Depends on what the Creswell injury is, I suppose. Fulkrug had a race with a snail. I think I read that one, have I not? Oh my god, there's so many comments. How are people expecting 10 goals from Fulkrug if he won't get any crosses or service like the Bournemouth match? That's true. Does Soler replace Souček, allowing us to move the ball? Honestly, when it comes to Thomas Souček, I'm intrigued to see what we do now moving forward. I'm intrigued to see what happens against Man City. I'm intrigued to see what happens at the next game after that. Any chance of finding a striker that can come and run out? A lot of our new signings are not Prem regulars, so don't know how they will pan out. Thanks for clarifying that, Anton. Very happy with the window and really wouldn't be surprised if there was a late incoming late tonight. From JWP to Souček to Solar and Chukwuemeka, I'm on my knees. Solar is attacking, I think, so he'd replace Souček or Pac-Man. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So that's the end of the show just now. So just West Ham linked to Chelsea star, and whether or not there's any form of truth in it, we will have to wait and see. But I possibly could see why this one could go through, because Chelsea need to balance their books. They're in talks with Jadon Sancho. I mean, every time I look online, they're in talks with the bloody everyone, and we think West Ham is bad. So they will have to ship players out to balance their books, definitely, and this could be one of them ones heading out. Carney, Chukwuemeka, if you want to go and check out any of the videos of him playing for the England under-19s, because he was phenomenal. That was the man of the tournament. Russ is back tonight, I believe. He'll be back tonight. So he's been on his little cheeky holiday. He has too many holidays, he does, doesn't he? Moz will be back at Everton before Christmas, so we'll probably sell Souček and Sufal to them. Listen, I have no insider information. I think I can't help but feel like there's something in it. I expect Russie to look like a tomato. I don't expect Russie to look like a tomato because he's only been on holiday down south, so I don't think he's had any hot weather. But anyway, it is what it is. Join me as more news breaks throughout the day. Subscribe, like, comment, and wonderful people. Come on, you irons.